Hello everyone, I hope you guys are all doing well. We're going to be reading some more video game design for dummies here. I have just taken some medicine for my throat. I'm sorry we didn't record yesterday. It's Thursday, I had some stuff going on. I go for a shop on Thursdays, so excuses. Today we're going to be reading for 30 minutes. I'd normally read for 40 in this instance, but it's 1 in the morning. It's like 1:20, so I want to get to bed. Sorry. It's 1:35. I'm lying on all accounts. It's 1:35, Saturday the 24th of January, let's say it's the 23rd. And we're going to read for 30 minutes, and then tomorrow we'll also read for 30 minutes as well. So let's set that timer. Again, this entire thing's been inspired by Kai Cenat and what he's been kind of shifting into recently. I don't know the guy's work that intimately, but I am definitely inspired. So let's pick up now at chapter 4. I apologize for the coughing that will be kind of throughout this, but hey, gotta read. So, in this chapter, finding your inner design. Oh, also, by the way, I'm doing this to get better at speaking. I'm doing this to start reading as a thing that I do, because I haven't done that since I was a teenager, which is fucking crazy. And to get better at articulating myself, as I've said, and to actually be able to work on my ability to read. Let's get into it. In this chapter, we're going to be finding your inner designer, understanding what's expected of game designers, designing the game, and becoming a professional. So, chapter 4, becoming a game designer. New games are coming out constantly these days, and acquiring playable. We're off to a good start. New games are coming out constantly these days, and acquiring and playing one is very easy. That's where I got tripped up there. Also, my goodness, I want something to get my hair out of the way. I think it's getting a bit too long. Let's restart the timer. Let's restart that. Yeah, there we go. New games are coming out constantly these days, and acquiring and playing one is easy. Before mobile phones, games were a lot less accessible. Just 25 years ago, most people were probably using dial-up to get access to some rudimentary online games, and most people didn't have a cell phone, especially not a cell phone like how we think of them today. Imagine how out of reach designing games must have been at that time. Today, it's easy as ever to pull out your phone to play a game, and almost as easy to start designing one. Learning what it takes to be a game designer. Many people think of a game designer as a glamorous position. It's often seen as the main way to get your ideas recognized on a team making a game. But once you start making something, the best ideas don't just come from the designer. They bubble up from collective creativity of the entire team, including programmers, artists, writers, and sound designers. Man, this tickly cough is really doing my head in. I also feel like this mic's kind of falling a little bit, so let's maybe put it directly vertical. I like to think of game designers as curators of a large pool of ideas, rather than solely generating concepts. A designer's role is to sift through the pile of suggestions and inspirations brought forward by the team, identifying which ones align best with the project's vision and goals. They must analyze tons of data, feedback, and prototype, and know the values of the project and the team to understand how to curate those ideas. Designers are also tasked with bringing ideas to life. I've known a lot of designers of varying technical ability, but what has been consistently true is that technical ability always gives someone an upper hand in video game creation. No way. Knowing the tools used to make the game is always helpful when it comes to designing the game. That's a tip. Pardon me. Bringing ideas to life involves crafting an underlying architecture of the game, such as designing game mechanics, user interfaces, and player experiences. In some cases, the game designer may even prototype and implement content, translating abstract ideas into tangible, interactive experiences. Their role is less about dictating a singular idea and more about guiding a creative process that helps a team achieve a North Star. Remember, game designers are often seen as the glue that holds a team together. The role is inherently multidisciplinary, requiring a wide breadth of knowledge that spans everything from storytelling and psychology to programming and systems design. In many ways, a game designer's job is to connect the dots between different departments, ensuring that each piece of the puzzle fits seamlessly into the overall experience. Here are a few behaviors I've seen the best game designers have: adaptability, curiosity, helpfulness, artistic ability, resourcefulness. Storytelling, psychology, programming, and system design. Interesting. Throughout my career, I've had a variety of roles. Pedicabber? I don't know what a pedicabber is. What's a pedicabber? Is it like one of those... Yeah, okay. A pedicabber is exactly what I thought it was. It's where you're like the bicycle and then you tow people on the back. Pedicabber transportation. How interesting. Okay, pedicabber, phlebotomist, property manager, data analyst, and of course, game designer. Each of these jobs has taught me something valuable and nurtured my curiosity about the world. As a pedicabber, I learned about human behavior, spontaneity, and improv and being resourceful. I just want to check on spontaneity. I'm assuming it means the act of being spontaneous, of course, and spontaneous being the act of doing things novelly or without much consideration. But I just want to double check. Cambridge Dictionary. Spontaneity, the quality of being natural rather than planned in advance. Right, so it's something coming about naturally and then acting on it. Got it. A way of behaving in which you do what feels natural and good whenever you want to rather than planning things first. Okay, very good. Moving on. As a phlebotomist, I gained experience working in high-stakes environments where trust is key. My time as property manager taught me about customer service and automating systems. My time as a data analyst helped me hone my analytical and problem-solving skills, developing an eye for patterns and systems that translate directly into game mechanics and user experiences. Sounds like he's writing a fucking... they, I don't know if it's a he. I assume it's a he, but no, it's probably not. It's an Alexia, so unlikely. I assume they... sounds like they are writing like a cover letter to a job. Remember, I mean that in the most respectful way possible, but like it feels a bit. That's how I write my my like letters of recommendation. Remember, though it is not as not a strict requirement to have a varied background to excel in game design, I believe that an open mind, curiosity, and willingness to learn new things can give any designer a significant edge. You can't build immersive worlds without first being curious about the one we live in. Additionally, being receptive to feedback is really important in this role. The games we create are for others to enjoy, and being open to critique helps ensure that what you craft resonates with the intended audience. For me, game design is a constant learning process. This really reminds me of the Monster Hunter series. Everything in there is like biologically, not necessarily accurate, because you have things that can breathe fire and shoot dragon energy, but like they're biologically relevant in a way that the eyes move the way that you'd expect them to, and limbs. I just think that's really, really cool from like the curiosity of the world, because in order to build that, you'd have to have people who are experts in like aquatic environments and adaptations. You have to have people who are experts in like volcanic activity and how life survives in volcanoes. I think that's a really, really fascinating thing. And whenever you need to come up with a new monster, especially like an elder dragon, you need to think about where are they from, what kind of calamity or force of nature they're representing, how do we embody that, what does that look like in a biological frame. I think it's really, really interesting. And also then with the create for others to enjoy, that reminds me of the Fable trailer dropped yesterday, which I think is I've not played the Fable games, but it looks like and it sounds like it's going to be something that is very much a game for the players, which I think is awesome. Exploring what game designers do. Not every game designer's daily routine will look the same. The day-to-day tasks will vary based on the size of the team, the other team members' skills, and the type of project they're working on. For example, RPG, role-playing game designers, may spend their days deep in spreadsheets, balancing stats and crafting complex branching dialogue systems, or mapping out intricate flowcharts for quest structures. Platform designers can be focused on sketching level layouts or building and tweaking levels directly in the engine, ensuring the movement and mechanics feel intuitive and fluid. Action-adventure designers often invest time in storyboarding, shaping the narrative beats, set pieces, and player progression to create engaging, cohesive story. FPS, first-person shooter designers, may spend a lot of time grayboxing levels, which means creating a basic untextured prototype to test spatial layouts and gameplay flow. They may even be using spreadsheets to fine-tune weapon balancing and player abilities. Really sorry about my cough. Strategy game designers will likely be neck-deep in spreadsheets and flowcharts as well, balancing resource management, unit stats, and long-term strategies. Puzzle game designers are probably working directly in-engine, experimenting with different mechanics, testing player solutions, and refining interactions to create an aha moment. I think it's an interesting one about FPS. I haven't really thought about this before, but if they prioritize that gray boxing, like testing spatial environment, I wonder if they do like a floor plan with, how like a house has like that very particular design architecture for its floor plan. If they do something like that, I imagine they probably would. It makes sense, like have everything be accurate, measured, proportional, and then go from, makes sense, right? It's just a map at the end of the day. Pardon me. In general, a game designer will be concepting features or systems by making charts to understand how they work and write specifications for how they are built. Creating paper or digital prototypes, charting game systems and understanding the data that goes into them by drafting spreadsheets and filling in the content, identifying problems through playtesting and analyzing using data dashboards that are hooked up to the game, mapping out the pacing of the story and gameplay beats by storyboarding, working in engine to add working in engine to add in new systems and content, or test out a new feature to make sure it works as intended. Consider this exercise. We've got a spreadsheet here. Say you have a leveling system in your game that you already designed and implemented. At this point, you probably have a spreadsheet that looks like this one, shown in figure 4.1. Sessions per day, session length, keep track of game, okay, quest type, experience, average times per session, player level, player experience, play sessions. Okay. Okay. I give further details about system spreadsheets in chapter 7, but for now, here's what this spreadsheet includes at a high level. And then what is chapter 7 perchance? Chapter 7 is part 2, exploring game design elements. That's the tools, project management. Okay, tools and project management, nice. Chevron. How often someone plays per day and for how long. Anything that adds experience points to the total amount, like quests or tasks, and how often those are completed within one play session. Player level and total experience to get to that level. And how many play sessions it takes to achieve that level. Okay, so they've broken things down. So how long they play for, so how long is an average session. What adds experience, and then total player level and the number of expected play sessions to reach the next level. Okay. Using this information, you'll be able to validate or invalidate your initial values by testing with a set of players to make adjustments to timing. You'll want, pardon me, you'll want to do your due diligence to see how the player behaviors match up with your original intent. You can ask this question: how many days does it take for a player to reach level 10? And so that's a really interesting series of questions based on experience. Oh man. I'll be very glad when this cough's gone. As a game designer, I've used and seen many different tools to manipulate data to answer problems like this. Depending on which step in the project you're in, you may opt for a tool like Google Sheets or Excel, and do this by hand by observing players, or you may be a bit more sophisticated and have a database set up to collect data from your game against which you can write SQL queries. What the hell is an SQL query? SQL query. SQL syntax is a programming language. Okay. Okay. SQL stands for Structured Query Language and is a domain-specific language used to manage data, especially in a relational database management system. Okay, very interesting. There we go. Tip. Game designers will need to remember lots of systems and make updates as they encounter problems through playtesting. It's best to have it all recorded in a spreadsheet and documents and keep up to date. This will make it easier to know what information is in the game when you're in the thick of development. Here are some types of tools and technologies you'll end up using as a game designer: documentation software, game engines, 3D modeling tools, user interface and 2D artwork tools, data storage and reporting software, project management tools. Cool, we're about halfway through. Good. Knowing the top 5 game design skills. Although there are various types of game designers, such as system designers who focus on creating and balancing game mechanics, or content designers who craft a narrative and world-building elements, I consistently rely on certain core skills in my practice as a generalist game designer. I found them essential for helping the team discover the fun in a game, properly scoping the project, prioritizing tasks, and iterating effectively to refine the final product. The skills you will want to participate include data manipulation. Designers need to understand what problems they are trying to solve and figure out the data to point them towards the solution. This can mean doing market research, defining data to collect, implementing the collection or visualization of data in a way that informs the team about what is happening in the player base, not to the player base. It can also mean creating speculative data, structures to model and simulate scenarios to test out the numbers within the game system and how the player may progress towards their goals. Prioritization and scoping. The ability to understand scope comes with experience. It's the result of understanding the roles of people on the team, from artists to programmers. Making placeholder art or scripts is the quickest way to create empathy for other teammates and understand the timelines of tasks they may need to complete. Understanding scope is half the battle. Being able to curate the team's ideas and convince people that downscoping is the proper way to proceed are also part of the challenge. Wow. I was just seeing if I could do anything to stop myself from coughing. Being able to estimate how long it will take to make a feature or asset and cut features that don't support the core or meta loops directly is important so that the team will actually be able to ship the game. A great way to do this is by setting constraints. The team can be a setting constraint. This is a great way to do this is by setting constraints the team can be creative under. Right, there we go, that makes sense. These can be technical or objective constraints. For instance, the team can decide that the game needs to run on a certain platform, like Oculus Quest, or it can mean defining the main strategy and measurable goals around your social features. Decision making. Game development is full of choices, from high-level creative decisions to make to minute technical details. Being decisive and knowing when to pursue a new idea or when to cut a feature is critical for maintaining momentum and focus. The ability to make decisions comes from understanding scope, the team's abilities and strengths, testing ideas, timeline, and genre and history of the space you're working in. Communication. Game designers must convey their idea to the team and outside stakeholders. Often designers are asked to present to leadership and other team members, so having confidence and clarity to speak or pitch to outsiders is extremely valuable. Being able to create concise presentations, flowcharts, and documents to drive clarity on the team is essential in these scenarios. There's nothing worse than asking an engineer, for example, to read a 10-page document to implement a feature. Your information needs to be clear and concise, but also include enough context for an executive to read it and understand the vision of the experience. So I'm really trying my best. My voice feels like I'm like I'm about to cry, but it's because I'm trying to avoid the sensitive area of my throat. Prototyping. Okay, we've just crossed 10 minutes. Maybe I should just go to bed. Prototyping. Rapid prototyping is an invaluable skill for testing ideas quickly. Yeah, I think I will. So, I'm going to finish this paragraph first, though. Rapidly prototyping is an invaluable skill for testing ideas quickly and cheaply. It allows designers to experiment with different concepts, identify what works and what doesn't, and iterate on the gameplay loops until they find the core fun of the game. This is where the ability to use game engines like Unity or Unreal Engine or an animation tool will help you reach conclusions more quickly, faster. You don't need to be a programmer, but understanding some programming concepts and being able to leverage the engine to convey an idea or test something will help you do your job more effectively. Okay, and that's where I'm going to leave it because I am very much struggling with my voice at the moment. So I'll pick that up again tomorrow and hopefully get a 40-minute one out. But I'm very sore in the throat right now. So we're going to call it there. That was about 20 minutes, just over, but we'll call it an even 20. Thank you guys so much. Time now is 1:58 and I need to go to bed. So we will call that there. Thank you all so much for today. Again, this entire thing has been inspired by Kai Cenat, and I'm just very grateful that I was able to start picking up books again, because there's so many books that I want to read. It's not all going to be just like game design books. I've got other books that I want to read as well, and that's a really great thing to say. It's not just like a, oh yeah, I want to read them. It's like I'm going to read them, and I have the proof of it now. So this is just number one, and I'm very, very grateful for it. And I can't believe that I'm going to finish 2026 with a book having been read. That's really, really cool. So, in any case, I'm going to go off to bed now because I'm very tired and obviously still under the weather. But thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.